Hare Krishna. Welcome to this episode of Bhagavad-gītā. So today we will be studying chapter 8, text 4, the Omni-Powerful Lord Krishna. That is the topic. And I'm actually testing another software for the live streaming. So let me know the experience for the viewer. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Here also I see that the CPU is throttling kind of. Let me know how the audio and how the video is. I can understand that the video is already lagging, but let me know how the audio is. I'm actually trying StreamYard, another software for the live streaming, just to see how it is all working, but there is lag. So my computer is completely gone. That means even the new software wouldn't help that much. Let me close some applications. Just give me some time here. Wow, this is no good. So I can see again that my computer is throttling like anything. So I do not know how to move forward like this. Let me know if you can still bear with this. I don't know if I have to. There's another way where I can like maybe disconnect this from the monitor, but I do not know how much it will help. I guess I have to get a new. How to continue a live stream like that? I thought this will actually solve the problem by moving to StreamYard, but it does. It's not solving at all. Can I leave the live stream and then come back again? Is that okay with you all? I will try something, but again, if that doesn't work, I will disconnect my computer from the monitor and then I will see if that works. Okay. I will. I don't know how to leave this. Wait. Okay. Maybe the live stream might end, but please bear with me and see if it comes on a new link or whatever. Let's try it. Sorry about that. Just a second here. Are you able to see me now? Okay, Hare Krishna. Let me know how it is now. I think I feel a little bit better on my side. Yeah, I could actually exit the live stream and come back, and it's still the same live stream. So, which is good. I like that feature. But I just hope the. Let me know in the comments how is the experience now. I don't know. Maybe it'll change in a few minutes. I don't know. But before that happens, um, let's see if we can do some class at least. All right. So Bhagavad-gītā chapter 8 text 4, the omni-powerful Lord Krishna, right? Adhibhūtaṁ kṣaro bhāvaḥ puruṣaś cādhidaivatam adhiyajño evātra dehe deha-bhṛtāṁ vara. Adhibhūtaṁ, the physical manifestation. Kṣaraha, the constantly changing. Bhāvaḥ, nature. Puruṣaś, the universal form including all the demigods like the sun and moon. Cha, and adhidaivatam, called adhidaiva. Adhiyajño, the Supersoul. Aham, I, Krishna. Eva, certainly. Atra, in this. Dehe, body. Deha-bhṛtāṁ, of the embodied. Vara, O best. Hare Krishna, please help the others come back onto the live stream because I think some of them have left. Please ask them to come back on the live stream and see how the experience is now. I think I don't feel the lag now, and the system is not throttling, which is good. Okay, so let me just check one thing here. So the original translation is different. So if I maybe show my screen again, isn't okay, my computer screen, I have to like change something. So anyway, I'll just read the original for you. Maybe we can go here, yeah. Why not? You see here, adhibhūtaṁ kṣaro bhāva. I don't know if you can read it, it's a bit smaller. So translation, physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as a super soul dwelling in the heart of every embodied being. That is the original translation in the original version. And the changed version, O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called adhibhūta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called adhidaiva, and I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called adhiyajño, the Lord of sacrifice. So very different from what it is on the original version, but the meaning has not changed. And actually, if you see the word to word meaning here, adhidaivatam, including all demigods like sun and moon. So that is not there in the translation here. I need to see the manuscript once more. I haven't checked that. In the manuscript, they might, I don't know how it is translated there. Um, so here, this sun and moon and all is explained here. Here, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called adhidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord. Whereas in the original one, it is, and I am that Lord, represented as a super soul. So here, that part is more clear. And I am that Lord. So the universal form of the Lord is not something else. I am that same Lord, represented as a super soul. Whereas here, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called adhidaiva, and I, the Supreme Lord. I mean, which is again the same. It says that I am that Lord, I'm that same Lord, which is in the original version. Anyway, and I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in every heart of every embodied being, am called adhiyajño, the Lord of Sacrifice. The meaning has not changed much, just that some more detail is added here. The universal form, and then the sun and moon, all that is added here. And then the word arrangement has been changed. I have not seen the manuscript, so I do not know how the original was actually translated. Like the version of 724, if we see in the changed version, unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So this is quite clear in the changed version, but if you go to the unchanged one, unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small nature, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. So here it looks like, it sounds like that, oh, unintelligent men think that I have a form. Intelligent men know that I have no form. So it actually supports the impersonalistic idea. And if you see the manuscript is much closer to the changed version than the original version. So the changed version is much more clear, and the manuscript was actually like this. Hmm. So there are some. Not all of the translations of the original book are actually originally intended by Prabhupada. So there have been mistakes done even in the original edition itself by some of the editors like Hayagriva. So there is this point to be noted. There's a nuance that is there. So anyway, overall, the meaning did not change much. You can understand the concept, the what is being explained. So here, adhibhūtaṁ, adhidaivatam, and adhiyajñam are being discussed in this verse. So in the previous verse, we have already explained that it is following from the statements by Krishna in the end at the end of 7th chapter, upon which Arjuna followed up with some questions. And 8.3, Krishna already explained that to an extent. I mean, what is that? Brahma, bhuta bhāvot karma, Brahma and karma and adhyatma. That is explained in the 8.3. And in today's verse, adhibhūta, adhidaiva, and adhiyajña. Because that was Arjuna's questions. If you see, Arjuna asked, Kim tad Brahma, Kim adhyatmam? Okay, just to recap again. 729, Krishna says, Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So here, Brahma, Adhyatma, and Karma are mentioned in this verse. So Krishna is saying intelligent persons, who endeavor for liberation from birth and death, take refuge in me. So that such persons, they know Brahman and they know everything about transcendental activities. And then he continues, adhibhūtaṁ mam adhiyajñam cha ye viduhu prayana kale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasah. Those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So, so Krishna made these two verses a declaration here on the intelligent people and how they know everything and how they engage themselves in Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna is following up to clarify. Okay, you are saying Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, adhiyajño. Can you elaborate on these things? Can you unpack these words that you have mentioned? So that was Arjuna's questions in the beginning of the 8th chapter, 8:1 and 2. So Arjuna uvacha, kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhūtaṁ cha kim proktam adhidaivam kim uchyate. Let's see the question. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Then he continues, adhiyajñah katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham jneyos niyatatmabhih. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So whatever Krishna declared, Arjuna asked him to elaborate on that. So if you see the context, the change that we see in today's translation is actually, coming from that declaration of what Krishna has declared in the 7th chapter, in the end of 7th chapter. So adhibhūtaṁ. So Krishna answered the first one, which we already gone through, 8:3, which is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmam Uchyate Bhūtabhāvod Bhūtabhāvodbhavakaro Visargah Karma Samgnitah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. Just a second here. Then next, this is today's verse, 8:4. Adhibhūtaṁ kṣaro bhāvaḥ puruṣaścādhidaivatam adhiyajño evātra dehe deha-bhṛtāṁ vara. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called adhibhūtaṁ, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called adhidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Supersoul in the heart of every embodied being, am called adhiyajña, the Lord of sacrifice. So, let's read the purport. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and then they vanish. This physical nature is called adhibhūta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called adhidaivata. And present in the body along with the individual soul is the Supersoul, a plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The Supersoul is called the Paramatma or adhiyajño and is situated in the heart. The word eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is not different from him. Adhiyajñoham eva atra. Aham eva. I am certainly it's me who is the super soul. So the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. So this is the activity of the Paramatma. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witnesses his activities. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in transcendental service to the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord called adhidaivatam is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as Super Soul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form or Virat Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system. Okay, so we have a few things here going on. The physical nature is constantly changing. So adhibhūtaṁ. Now, if you see the word adhibhūtaṁ, um, you know the three types of miseries. Tapatraya. Tapatraya means the three types of suffering. Tapa means austerity, where one voluntarily undergoes some discomfort for a higher purpose. That is called tapa, tapasya. In fact, that was the first word in the universe, tapa, first instruction of God, of Krishna. Brahma heard this word tapa and then he started meditation. He even understood what the word meant. That intelligence was given by Krishna. And if you see, I think 296, that verse is there. And it's very nicely explained. Beautiful. Ekadam achintayan vyaksharamekadam bhasi. सचिन्तयन्त्यक्षरमेकदाम्भसि उपाशृणोद्विर्गदितं वचो विभुः स्पर्शेषु यत् षोडशमेकविंशं निष्किञ्चनानां नृपयद्धनं विदुः. So this is very interesting how it is explained here. Shodasham ekavimsham. Shodasham means 16. Ekavimsham 16th. 16th. And ekavimsham means Vimsham means 20, 20th. Ekavimsham means 1 plus 20, 21st. Sparsheshu, sparsha means touch. Sparsheshu yat shodasham, sparsheshu yat shodasham ekavimsham. That means touch, among the touches, the 16th and the 21st. What does that line even mean? So this is where we can understand the Sanskrit alphabet, the science, the scientific nature of the Sanskrit alphabet. So the vowels are those sounds which can be made without any touch of the tongue with the palate upstairs, not upstairs, at the top of the mouth. That is called the palate. And the tongue, when it doesn't touch the palate in any way, at any point, then those sounds are vowels. A, E, U, ow. All these are vowels. Now, touch. This is sparsha or consonants. I have explained this in very great detail in my shloka learning course, the second video of that. So basically, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. Ka. You just observe ka, where the tongue is touching the top. Ka, right at the back. Ka. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. The whole varga, the whole series, the tongue touches the same place. Okay? Then there is cha, cha, ja, jha, nya. So there the tongue touches the top at the center of the palate. Then tat, tha, da, dha, na. Here also center, but the tongue is rolled up. Tat, tha, da, dha, na. Then tat, tha, da, dha, na. Now the tongue comes even further at the base of the upper teeth, danta. So if you see ka at the back, cha and ta at the center, one is just like that, one is like that. The tongue is rolling up. And then it goes even further to the teeth. So tat, tha, da, dha, na. Pa, pha, ba, bham, ma, which is the touch is happening here at the lips. So that is even further in the mouth, in the vocal cavity. So we can understand how these sounds are actually, from back of the mouth vocal system to the front. So this is the order of the consonants. So sparsheshu yat shodasham ekavimsham means among the touched alphabets, that means the consonants, among the consonants, the 16th and the 21st. So what is the 16th? Kakagaganga 5, chachajachanga 10, tathadadhana 15, ta ta is 16th, ta, okay, tathadadhana. Then so 20 is finished. Pa, pa ba bha ma. So 21st is pa. So ta and pa, tapa. See how it is mentioned like this. Sachintayam vyaksharamekadambhasi upashrinodvirgaditam vacho vibhuः स्पर्शेषु यत् षोडशमेकविंशं निष्किञ्चनानां नृपयद्धनं विदुः निष्किञ्चनानां नृप यद्धनं विदुः. If you join these 16th and the 21st letters of the consonants, that forms the wealth of the renounced order of life. Nishkinchananam. Kinchana means desire. Nishkinchananam means one who has no desire. So he is in the renounced order of life. Actually, only a devotee can be Nishkinchana. Akinchana, Nishkinchana. It's actually a devotee only, who has no material desire. So Nishkinchananam nirupayad dhanam. The wealth. So usually renounced means you don't have any wealth. You just like the Goswamis. Tyaktva turnam asesha mandalapatim shrenim sada tuchhavat. So they have given up all their royal opulence as if it was garbage. So, and they became mendicants. Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Kaupina Kanthashrito. They were only wearing kaupin loincloths. They have given up everything. So they became mendicants. So apparently they don't have anything. What is their wealth? They don't have any wealth. No. Tapa. This becomes the wealth of those who have renounced this material world. So what is that? While thus engaged in thinking, so Brahma was perplexed. Why? Where is he? What is he doing? From where he came? He was trying to research on the lotus. He went down the stem of the lotus on which he was born. He went down the stem. He could not find anywhere. 100 years he was searching, and 100 years he came back up. He became afraid. Everything was dark. Then he heard. While he thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby two syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th, and the other from the 21st of the Sparsha alphabets, and both joined to become the wealth of the renounced order of life. So, Talavya Varna. The consonants also actually are talavya and sparsha and talavya. Talavya are yara, lava, shesha, shasha, sa. So they are slightly different category, but they are consonants also. So sparsha and talavya. So you see, so when they are joined together, the word tapa or penance is constructed. This penance is the beauty and wealth of the Brahmanas and the renounced order of life. So tapa means to voluntarily take some tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhe dyasmad brahma saukhyam dvanantam. ऋषभ उवाच नायं देहो देह-bhṛtāṁ निर्लोके कष्टान् कामान् अर्हते विड्भुजां ये तपो दिव्यं पुत्रकायेन सत्त्वं शुद्धेद्यस्मात् ब्रह्म सौख्यं त्वनन्तम्. Lord Rishabdev told his sons, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and tapodivyam, to penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. And when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So tapa means the voluntary discomfort for a higher cause, for a transcendental cause. Like Ekadashi, we fast. Everybody likes to eat, but we fast on Ekadashi for a higher cause, or on Janmashtami, or festivals like that. So these are simple, tapasya. But tapa means the discomfort not done voluntarily. It was imposed on us. Tapa. Tapa means I have voluntarily accepted discomfort, but tapa means the discomfort was imposed on me by a external force. So this tapa means suffering. Suffering is when I don't want to undergo certain thing, but it was imposed upon me against my will, against my, will. So that is tapa. And this tapa is classified into three categories. Tapatraya. Traya means three. Three kinds of tapa or klesha. Klesha means also difficulty. So tapatraya. So this tapatraya means suffering. Three types of suffering. Adhidaivic, adhibhūtik, adhiyajño. So actually adhibhūtik means what? Of adhibhūta means adhibhūta. Adhibhūtik. Adhyatma. That's quite straightforward. Adhyatmika. Adhibhautika. Bhautika means bhuta, of bhuta. Just like Bharata. Bharata. Arjuna was called Bharata because he was descendant of Bharata. Krishna is called Varshneya. Means he is the descendant of Vrishni. Or he is also called Vasudeva because he is a son of Vasudeva. So when he is of something, let's say Vishnu, and the devotee is called Vaishnava. So V and Va and E, between that there is a A that will come. Y. Instead of V, Vishnu, Vaishnava. Vrishni, no, Varshneya. Bharata, Bharata. So that A or A is added just after the first consonant sound, or not, just before the first vowel sound. Sorry. So this adhibhautik is actually bhuta, but between the bha and u, bhu, there is a bhav, bhautik. So that is how the Sanskrit is, the grammar is. So adhibhautik misery means caused by adhibhuta. That means by the material manifestation or by other living entity. Bhuta in different contexts it means different things. Bhuta means ghosts, bhut, and bhuta means living entities, and bhuta means also the material elements, and bhuta means the material world, the material manifestation in totality. So according to the context it can mean different things. Just like atma means sometimes soul and sometimes body, sometimes mind, intelligence. So depending on the context, see. Um, so this tapa is imposed upon us, tapatraya. So when we say adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik, these three are not only for misery, it's for everything. Even happiness is bestowed by the three things: adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik. Hmm. Not only miseries are caused by these things. Seeming happiness. Actually, it's not happiness. Relief from suffering. That's all. That is also awarded by these three natures only. I mean, three sources only. And it's not just these three: happiness or misery or like that. Everything that exists. You see, adhibhuta. So that's why Arjuna asked, "What is adhibhuta? What is adhidaiva? What is adhyatma? What is Brahma? What is karma? What is adhiyajña?" Um, So these things have to be elaborated, right? So that's how we have to understand. In totality, what is the principle of this adhibhuta? Adhibhuta. So if you see now from Krishna's explanation, brief explanation in these two verses, let's recap. 8.3 Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visargah Karma Samyetah. The indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. So this includes everything. So when we understand what is this Brahma and of course Parabrahma, Brahma means both Parabrahma and Brahma included. But Parabrahma is a special category of Brahma. So Brahman means the living force or the living force, because here everything is jada, everything is dull. Brahma bhuta means we are Brahma bhuta, and now we are jiva bhuta because we are actually active, we are spiritual entities. When we are liberated, we are called Brahma bhuta. So in the spiritual world, everything is Brahma. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Now, um, just like prime minister of a country, we are human beings. The prime minister is also a human being, but he is a much more powerful person who has complete control over the entire country. So it is a crude example, but similarly, we are living entities here. Nityo Nityana, Chetanash Chetanana. So we are Nitya, he is also Nitya. We are Chetana, he is also Chetana. That means we are eternal, he is eternal. We all are conscious living entities. He is also conscious. But Eko Bahunam Vidadhati Kaman. But this one eternal and one conscious being supports and sustains, maintains the entire multitude of innumerable eternal conscious beings. So he is also Brahma, we are also Brahma, but he is Parabrahma, but we are only Brahma, Supreme. So, although here, Krishna explained the living entity is Brahman, that is again, it can be expanded upon. The indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman. So Krishna is also indestructible. We are also indestructible. He is transcendental. We are also transcendental. He is living entity. We are also living entity. So actually, if you dissect that, you will see that Krishna is also described in the word Brahman. But he is a supreme indestructible. He is a supreme transcendental. He is a supreme living entity, and is a supremely conscious living being. So that's why he is called Parabrahman. So, in that, Brahman means Parabrahman and Brahman, both are included, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of living entities is called karma. Again, this is material karma. But if you see in the 7th chapter, 29th verse, Adhyatmam karma chakhilam, the translation is transcendental activities. Adhyatmam karma chakhilam, te brahmatad viduh kritsnam. And they are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So then after the Arjuna asks, what is Adhyatmam, what is Karma? Because here, Adhyatmam, Karma, transcendental activities. So when Arjuna asks, what is Adhyatmam, what is Karma? There he is referring to material activity in the karma. But actually, that is also karma. Also, there is karma, vikarma, akarma. If you really expand, there is subdivisions of this. So, of course, Krishna will explain both the material karma and the spiritual karma. And especially in the 8th chapter, he summarizes how devotional service is, transcendental. So, he actually explains the transcendental activities. But those activities which are pertaining to the development of material bodies, they are material karma. Again, karma, according to context, it can mean different things. Karma means one's fruitive action, and it can also mean sanctioned action by the Vedas. It can also mean just action, any action, just act. The act itself, that is called karma. And when it's adhyatma karma, when it's spiritual action, that is akarma. So in different contexts, the word karma can mean different things. Yeah. So adhibhūtaṁ. So if you see Brahma, adhyatmam, adhibhūta, bhuta bhāvodbhava karo, visarga karma samgita. Okay, this is different. Bhuta here, bhuta bhāvodbhava karo. Again, bhava. Bhava also means like feeling, right? Bhava. But also bhava means of generation. Like bhava. Bhava means to become. This is called bhavasagar. This material world is called bhavasagar. Why is it called bhavasagar? Sagar means ocean. Bhava means become. Become ocean. The ocean of becoming. What does it mean? Like Karuna Sindhu means ocean of mercy. Right? But bhavasagar means the ocean of becoming. What kind of phrase is that? So that means here we become something. We are actually Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nityadas. We are eternally servant of Krishna. But here we become something else. Or we think we become something else. We have this conception that we become. Now I am a human being. I have become a human being. I have become. Actually, we don't become anything. We remain the same individual soul. But our false ego tells us that we have now become. I have become a human being. I have become an animal. I have become a grass. I have become a insect. In this way, this is bhava. And then again, bhava, bha and a. Bha and a. You put another a there, bhava. So bhava means to become or to be generated, to be born in this world. To be born means we think we become something. We became this human being. So that become is called bhava. So because in our mind we think that I have now become this thing. So I have been born as this, so I have become this. So bhava means of generation, of being born. Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. Udbhava means generation. Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. Producing the material bodies. So bhava means generation. Bhava means of generation. What is produced of the generation? A material body. So bhava also can mean material body. Bhava also can mean feeling. You see how, if you read and try to analyze the word-to-word meanings of Prabhupada, you can learn a lot about Sanskrit. The other day, somebody was asking me that, his wife wants to go for Sanskrit class. I said, no need. Because he asked me, "Oh, Prabhu, you chant verses very nicely. Sanskrit. How come you know Sanskrit?" I said, I don't know anything about Sanskrit actually. I learned a little bit in my, plus two. In my intermediate junior college, but that was just for passing the exam. Just with zero interest, with no at all, nothing, zero understanding or nothing, no interest at all. But the majority of the whatever I can understand is all because of Prabhupada's books. I have never analyzed before. And of course, the advantage of having an Indian language, which is Telugu in my case, in any language in India, is if you know Indian language, you half know Sanskrit. Because many of all the Indian languages came from Sanskrit, or derivatives of Sanskrit, except Tamil. Tamil is a bit different, but still you can find similarities even in Tamil of Sanskrit. So, so in that you can understand if you have that little bit of understanding, and also if you just follow the word-to-word meanings of Prabhupada. Like just imagine 700 verses of Bhagavad-gītā, 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, 11,500 verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita. You add up together, you will get about 30,000 verses, plus a little bit of nectar of instruction and all that. 30,000 verses, each verse, like let's see today's verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's say on an average 12 words. Okay, let's do the math. 12 times 30,000, 360,000 words. I mean, it's like a dictionary. Prabhupada did not just give us the translation of the Vedic literature, he also gave us a whole dictionary. And Vaishnava dictionary, how a Vaishnava would define these words. That's very important, because rahasyam hetaduttamam, bhakto samay sakhachit rahasyam hetaduttamam. You will understand, Arjuna, Krishna said, because you are my devotee. So Vaishnava's explanation is very important. Rascals, they can manipulate in different way. They will come out with different meanings. But Vaishnava and Vaishnava dictionary, and if you will go and learn Sanskrit away from our books, you are being taught by some, Sanskrit scholar, maybe, but he may not be a Vaishnava. And so his way of understanding, his way of interpretation may be different. And we are not here to become Sanskrit Pandits anyway. If we just try to understand Prabhupada's books and try to understand the Sanskrit from his books, we will look like a Sanskrit scholar, even though we may not be. People think I am a Sanskrit scholar. I am not. I say I can't speak in Sanskrit. I can't compose a verse in Sanskrit. I can't compose a sentence in Sanskrit. Maybe if I try, maybe I can, but I am not interested. Interest is to memorize these verses. And when you are memorizing, Prabhupada gave us word to word. Just imagine how much work that is. Why we should neglect all of that and try to learn Sanskrit elsewhere? Prabhupada did it for us. So from his books we can learn Sanskrit. And if you learn like this with Sanskrit, understanding those words deeply, you see how much meaning you can get. Bhava, bhava, of bhava. Bhava means to generate. What is generated? From generation, what comes? The body, the material body. So bhuta means here the living entities. See, living entities here. Here bhuta means that. But here adhibhūtaṁ, the next verse. See, adhibhūtaṁ, the physical manifestation. See, bhuta has different meanings according to the different context. So bhuta bhava, the bodies of the living entities, udbhava karaha. Udbhava means to bring forth. The karaha means that which produces the bodies of the living entities. That is how this translation came about, this word-to-word translation. Just see. Visargaha, creation, karma. Again, this also can be sargaha, visarga. Actually, visarga means sub-creation. Sarga means primary creation. Visarga means secondary creation. This is actually, if you go here, I'll show you something interesting. The topics of Bhagavatam, if you see, I know I'm digressing into many subjects here, but you see, Shri Shuka Uvacha, Atra Sargo Visargascha, Sthanam Poshanamutayah, Manmantareshanukatha, Nirodho Muktirashrayah. You see, Sarga, statement of creation, of the creation of the universe. Visarga, statement of sub-creation. Sarga means also, I think, series. That is what? Varga. Varga means series. Sarga means creation. Okay. Varga. Pavarga. Apavarga. The series. Pavarga means Varga means the series. Papabhama, the labials, I think it's called. All the series of the alphabets with the lips touching each other. So, um, so in that way we can understand sarga, visarga. So here the word visarga is used. Visarga, sometimes it is also interchangeable in the sense visarga also means creation. Here it is mentioned creation, you see. So, karma samgnitaha. So that which causes the repeated births of the living entities is called karma. So our activities produce material bodies in this material world. So that is explained in the previous verse. Today, adhibhūtaṁ kṣaro bhāvaḥ. Here, bhava, yes, this is another thing. Nature. Another meaning of bhava, nature. Because again, bhava means become. Bhava means what becomes, what comes. Just like our body is manifested, the universal body also manifested. And what is that? The nature. All these planets and everything. So anyway, um, kṣaraha. Actually, kṣaraha means destruction. Akshara means indestructible, right? Aksharam, indestructible. That means ksharam means destructible, right? But here it is mentioned kshara means constantly changing. What is this? How does it make sense? It does. Because change means a destruction of one thing, of one state, and the beginning of another state. So kṣaro bhava, bhutva bhutva praliyate. Another verse of Bhagavad-gītā says, bhutva bhutva praliyate. This material world is repeatedly destroyed. In our body, now this we say is our body, and it's changing. What is changing actually? We have lost our childhood body. Now I used to have a childhood body like so small, and I can see the pictures of that body. Now that body is no more there. It's replaced by another body. So although we call it a change, actually it is a micro destruction and micro creation. So that's why it's called kṣara. Micro creation and micro destruction happening at every single moment. So this changing of bodies does not happen just at the time of death, but actually it happens every single moment of our life. So constantly change. That's why it's called kṣara. If it is same, then it is not kṣara. It is not destructible, but it is not remaining the same. So it is destroyed. It is being destroyed and replaced by something else. Replaced by something else. That is called a change. That's all. So that's why you see akshara is indestructible. Kṣara means changing. See how it's not inconsistent. So in this way we have to understand everything nicely. Adhidaivatam, puruṣaś, the universal form, including demigods like the sun and moon. So Purusha Sukta, if you see there is a Purusha Sukta. What is a Sukta? What is a Sukta? Ukta. Uktva, sometimes we have word. Of course we have uvacha, means said. Uktva, evam uktva rishikesham gudakeshena bharata सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युत. No. सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमम्. So evam uktva. Uktva means having said. Having said means uktva. Now ukta means say. Say. So sukta means su plus ukta. Sukta. The means su means good. Ukta means saying. So good words or glorification of the Purusha. Purusha Sukta. The opposite of Sukta is Kukta. Ku plus Ukta. Ku means exactly the opposite of Su, which is bad. Or it is also called Durukta, but I don't think Durukta. Kukta. So is speaking bad about someone, vilifying someone. That is Kukta. Sukta means to glorify someone. So Purusha Sukta, if you see the Purusha Sukta prayers, the Lord is referred to in the universal form, as a universal form. Chandrama manaso jatah chakshoh suryo ajayata mukhadindraschagnischa pranad vayurajayata. You see, if you see the whole thing, ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यः कृतः ऊरुतदस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागं शूद्रो अजायत. So all the varnas, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, how they are coming from the head, the arms and the waist and the legs of the Lord. So this is the description of the Virat Purusha or the universal form. So here, so if you see the Purusha Sukta, that is mentioning or referring to the universal form. So therefore, here Purusha is referring here to the universal form. So again, Purusha, the word Purusha can be used in many ways. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunte prakriti jan gunan. Purusha means basically the enjoyer. So sometimes living entity is also referred to as the Purusha, because although he is actually supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna, he is now he has assumed this role of an enjoyer falsely. So because he has adopted that mentality artificially, so he's referred to as Purusha to refer to him as a conditioned being who is a lost soul. He's supposed to be a Prakriti, but he is now Purusha. He's referred to as Purusha means he is having this mentality of him being an enjoyer. So Purusha, Prakriti. So in that case, the living entity is referred to as the Purusha. And of course, Adi Purusha is Krishna. The real enjoyer is Krishna. And Purushavatar, we have Purushavatar. In that sense, it is referring particularly to Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So in different circumstances, it is referred to different ways. Okay. So in this context, because Krishna will not speak about some human being or something like that, Purusha, because he is talking about all this adhyajño, these topics. So it is, if you see in the order what Krishna said and what Arjuna asked and what he is explaining, it has to be consistent. So that's why Purusha meaning is universal form here, including all the demigods like the sun and moon. Now where did that come from? Sun and moon is not mentioned in the verse. The Sanskrit in the Sanskrit is not mentioned sun and moon. Why Prabhupada mentioned their sun and moon? If you see the Purusha Sukta prayers, you will understand everything, how the universal form is described, how the different parts of the universe. Just now I mentioned that verse. Chandrama manaso jataha. Chandrama means moon is his mind. From the moon, his mind came about. That's why in astrology, if somebody is having some mental problems, the astrologer will check where the moon is, how the moon is influencing him. So this is all connected, you see. It's very coherent. And Chaksho Suryo Ajayata, the sun is his eye. In another place, the sun and moon are his eyes. That is also there. So in different ways. And Nabha, what is that? Nabha, this sky is produced from his navel. That is also there. So in this way, the universal form is described. So there, the descriptions of sun and moon are also there. And many Indrascha, Agnischa, Mukhad Indrascha, Agnischa, Pranad Vayurajayata. Vayu is also the life, the life air. So all the demigods are also part of this universal form, imaginary universal form. It is for the neophyte to get him to think about a personality. Although he's seen all this variety, actually it is part of that one person. It's not something independent. All these demigods are not independent entities. They're part of this one Supreme Lord or the government of the Supreme Lord. And in this way, to have that unifying principle in variety, this universal form is described. But then one becomes more advanced, as Prabhupada said in the purport here. He will actually meditate on the Supersoul. And if he's even more advanced, he will actually see the Bhagavan. Paramatma and Bhagavan Brahma is, there's different ways. And also, I will show you another verse. Let's see here. The standards of worship. 9:13 Bhagavad-gītā. महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The Mahatmas, the great souls, these are the topmost rung of spiritualists. Okay, they are Mahatmas. And what else? What they do? They are fully engaged in devotional service of Krishna, and they know, because they know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So they know everything about Krishna and they engage themselves in Krishna's service. What else they do? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha vrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So these two verses explain the situation of the Mahatmas, the great souls. But there are others who are not Mahatmas, who are somewhere on the path, but to a much lesser degree they are. And they are described in the next verse. Jnana yajñena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahudha vishvato mukham. Now, anya means others who are not Mahatmas. Okay, then they worship the same Supreme Lord in different ways according to their level of understanding. What is that? By cultivation of knowledge, jnana yajñena. Then ekatvena, in oneness. Everything is one. This oneness is adhivhūtaṁ. They are not Mahatmas. Those who are actually Advaitavadis, they are not Mahatmas. Prithaktvena, in duality. They, you see, worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. So, oneness, one without a second. Okay, that is also it's proper understanding. But oneness means the Advaita. Prithaktvena means in separate ways, or there's a separate gods. That is also another meaning of Prithaktvena, where every god is independent of each other. And Bahudha, in diversity. This is another, this pantheism. Pantheism means, again, there's many gods. Bahudha. Vishvato Mukham, in the universal form. So those who worship the universal form and worship the demigods, and then Prithaktvena, Ekatvena, Prithaktvena, in oneness and in duality. And those who are, in the research of knowledge, Jnana Yajñena, they are all somewhere on the path, but not even close, not even anywhere remotely close to the devotee who are Mahatmas. So there's a clear segregation between the two, even among the transcendentalists. These people in this verse are certainly transcendentalists. At least they are directed towards transcendence. But they are nowhere close to the Mahatma level. So this is to be very clearly understood. So if you take that understanding and come back here, so this what was I saying? The different nature, the different ways of this Purusha. This Purusha is the one of the different ways of worshipping the Supreme Lord. Purusha, the universal form. So, universal form, adhidaivatam. It is called adhidaivatam. So again, daiva. The word daiva is a derivative of deva. And deva is a derivative of diva. Diva means day. Day. Diva means the sun is what causes the day, right? Day and night. So when the sun rises, it is day. So diva means day. Divanishi hiyajvale, right? Um, I think in Mukundmala Stotra 6, I think. Wait, let me see. Divi. In the abode of the demigods. Divi va bhuvi va mamastu vaso. Divi means the abode of the demigods. So why? Diva means day, and day is caused by sun. Now, the sun, the orbit of the sun, is the beginning of the Swargaloka planetary system, the devatas. So deva means those, the, the, diva, the plus e. Between them, if you put a instead of the, it becomes dai, dai. And actually, a plus e is a, and a plus a is I. So deva means the inhabitants who inhabit this planetary system, which starts from the diva, the sun. They are called deva. And daiva means of deva. And of course, the supreme deva is, Krishna, the god of all gods, supreme personality of God, head is Krishna. So daivataha, adhidaivatam. So this purusha or universal form, of whom the demigods are part. Why they are a part of the supreme Lord? Because he has invested them with certain special powers to govern the universe. So daivataha, adhidaivataha. So that principle is adhidaiva. Yeah. Adhiyajño, the Supersoul, aham, I, Krishna, eva. So adhiyajño. So yajño vai Vishnu. Yajna means sacrifice, and sacrifice is to be done to only Vishnu. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So that whatever we do, if we offer to Krishna, that is called yajna. And the different types of yajnas are also mentioned in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Jnana yajna, dravya yajna, what is that? Indriya yajna. So many yajnas. I mean, yoga yajna. Sorry, yoga indriya samyama. So yoga yajna. So many. And again, jnana, bhakti, which is actually all these are actually. It becomes only a yajna when it's an offering to the Lord. So adhiyajña, he is the principle of sacrifice. Lord of sacrifice. Every sacrifice is done to him. Because he is first of all sacrificing so much for us. He is as Supersoul, he is, going with us into every single living entity form that we are taking. And he is accompanying us. Who will do that? And we can't sacrifice anything for him. So, adhiyajña, the Supersoul in everyone's heart. Atra, dehe, deha-bhṛtāṁ. Deha-bhṛtāṁ. Bhrita means actually servant. That famous verse from Mukundmala Stotra. Even Prahlad Maharaj also mentioned himself as Bhritya. मज्जन्मनः फलमिदं मधुकैटभारे मत्प्रार्थनीयमदनुग्रह एष एव त्वद्भृत्य भृत्य परिचारक भृत्य भृत्य भृत्यस्य भृत्य इति मां स्मर लोकनाथ. So bhritya is so many times repeated. Bhritya means servant. Servant, 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 servant. O enemy of Madhu and Kaitabha, O Lord of the universe, the perfection of my life and the most cherished mercy you could show me would be for you to consider me the servant of 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 your servant. So Bhritya means servant. Here, deha-bhṛtāṁ means of the embodied. We are servant of our deha. We are servant of our senses. Go dāsa. Goswami, go dāsa. Goswami is the controller of his senses, controller of his body. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhīrah sarvam api mam prithivim sasishyat. So who has controlled all his urges, who has controlled his body? What is the other verse? Kurmongani vasarvasha 258. यदा संहरते छायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. You see? What is that? Those who can control their senses just like the tortoise can control its limbs. It can bring them out, or withdraw them inside. So, complete control of the tortoise. So, similarly, so that is Goswami. 258, there's a definition of Goswami. But Godas is when he is actually the servant of his senses. So deha-bhṛtāṁ means those who are servant of their bodies. How beautiful, how much meaning there is, you see. But here is just mention of the embodied. Of course, because, for the general usage, that is enough. But if you just read Prabhupada's books everywhere, you see, where did I take those from? Those meanings, Bhritya. It's from Prabhupada's books. Prahlad Maharaj, here this Mukundamala Stotra, Kulashekar Alvar. So, if you read many places, then you will have this compound meaning of that word. We will have one meaning of word in one verse, another meaning of the word in another verse, like that in different places, and then we'll have this compound meaning of that word because it has many meanings. And if you see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the Atmarama verse to Sanatana Goswami and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, 61 different meanings of the Atmarama verse, 1, 7, 10 of Bhagavatam. How did he explain it? He explained each word and the different meanings of one word and the different meanings of each word, and then combine this meaning with this meaning, with these meanings of the word, and then combine the other meaning of this word with this meanings. Then it will get different meaning. In this way, 61 different meanings of the same verse. So like that, we will have this compounded understanding of each of the Sanskrit words if we pay attention to the word-to-word meanings. Of course, if you're a beginning reader, you don't have to worry about this first. In fact, I recommend that you don't worry about this, word-to-word meaning of all this so much. This requires a totally different mindset than just reading. Even when I'm just reading, like, I don't even look at the Sanskrit. I just read the translation and purport, translation, purport. But when I'm trying to learn the verse, that's when I will look at the Sanskrit. And sometimes, even when I'm reading translation and purport, if the translation is something very striking, something very interesting, I will just go back to the Sanskrit and then see what are the words. Oh, okay. So in that way, you don't have to like memorize, but when you observe, it will get into your thing. It will get into your understanding. Krishna will give you the intelligence as well. So deha-bhṛtāṁ vara. So in this way, Krishna has explained adhibhūtaṁ of best of the embodied beings. The physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called adhibhūta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, those of the sun and moon, is called adhidaivatam. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called adhiyajño, the Lord of sacrifice. And in the previous verse, if you add that meaning to this, so the Brahman is the adhyatmam, we are the self. And of course, there is a Brahman also. And then there is karma, which are the activities. Now, if you combine all of this, you will have understanding of everything. If you have the understanding of Brahman and Parabrahman, of course, specialized Brahman, there is special category of Brahman, that is Parabrahman. That is only the Supreme Lord. So Brahman, if you understand, the adhyatma, the self. Of course, Brahma means both. And then karma, the activities. And then adhibhūta, the material manifestation in all its varieties. And then adhidaiva, the controlling aspect of this material world. It's not, if you see, the scientists, they are trying to examine adhyatma and adhibhūta, natures. Adhidaiva, they have zero understanding. So that's the missing link for them. They are studying the material manifestation, they are studying the self. They actually don't understand anything about the self also. There's this very, very rudimentary understanding of the self. At least they understand that they are individual beings, something they understand. So a little bit about Adhyatma, a little bit about Adhibhuta they know. Adhidaiva, zero. Zero. The scientific understanding has zero understanding of the superior control. Karmana Daivanetrena. This Daivanetra, they have no idea that there is eyes. Netra means eyes. Daivanetra means, there is a superior witness and superior, oversight for everything that is happening. Like, for example, ants are moving across on the room, suppose, in the room. You look at the ants. Now, the ants don't know that you're looking at them. They don't know. And similarly, we can have government and animals also there in the same land, but they don't know that there is a government system and there are other countries, there are governments. They have no understanding of this. Their understanding is very limited, and they don't even know that they are able to roam around on the streets like cats and dogs only because there are no wild animals. And wild animals are not there because the humans have, done up the city and like civilization, and humans have occupied, because of which they are able to stay safe. So they don't understand these things. Why there is no danger? They've never seen danger in their life. Some of the animals. So similarly, just as animals are ignorant of human government, humans are ignorant of the demigods' government. And demigods, they are actually directed by the Supreme Lord. So this divine arrangement, adhidaiva. So if you understand these things, that's why Krishna said in the seventh chapter, last two verses, that those who are perfect, those who are intelligent, they endeavor for moksha, and they know everything about transcendental activities. They know everything about adhibhūtaṁ, adhidaivatam, adhiyajñam, adhyatmam, and karma. Everything they know. Then we can, just like the other verse we read, right? Bhagavad-gītā 9:14, 13. You see, bhajanti mahatmanastamam partha daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananyamanas gyatva bhuta adim avyayam. They know. See, they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Look at that. That means they know. So they know all these things. A pure devotee, he knows everything. Yo mam evam asammudho janati puruṣottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. See? He is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service. So, what does know everything means here? Okay. Let me show you first this verse. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mameti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. So we have to know tattvataha, in truth, about Krishna. How do we know that? Shri Bhagavan-uvacha 7.1 Maya saktamanaha partha yogam yunjanmadashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasya sitat shruno. Shruno. Hear. If you hear, you can understand. Hear from who? From Krishna or his bona fide representative. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full. Know me in full, free from doubt." Of course, we can never know Krishna in full, but we can know everything that needs to be known by us. We can't know everything about Krishna. Krishna himself can't know himself. That much infinite he is. So, but know me in full means what then? How he, his energies, everything is working as much as he reveals to us, of course. So, of course, when you become devotee more and more, the Lord, what is that? Dadami buddhiyogam tam. He will give intelligence for us to understand everything and anything about him. And as much as like once Prabhupada was asked this question, do you know everything about God? Prabhupada said, yeah, I know everything I need to know about God. So that's how it is. So what we need, I mean, can we really understand the Lord everything? Like He's infinite. We are infinitesimal. How can we understand everything and of everything of the Lord? We cannot. But as much as needs to be understood, we have to understand. Okay? So that knowing everything means here these things. Like if you again 729. Let's go back to 729, 713. Jara marana mokshaya mamashritya yadanti ye te brahma tad viduh kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Kritsnam means everything. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They're actually Brahman because they know entirely everything about transcendental activities. So you see, intelligent persons who endeavor for beyond birth and death. Okay, and then he said, those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation. So we should understand how the material manifestation is going on and how the governing principle, which is the adhidaiva portion of it, is going on, and how the Supreme Lord is the controller of even the adhidaivic, adhibhūtic, and adhyatmic features of the entire creation, and how he is the Lord of sacrifice, and we have to perform that yajna, adhiyajño, our karma, which is now material, producing our material bodies, bhuta bhavodbhava karo. That activities have to be now channeled towards adhiyajña, the Lord of sacrifice. So every act should become an act of sacrifice. So what is the sacrifice that we're doing? We're sacrificing our sense gratificatory tendency and offering it for Krishna's pleasure. Same activities we can do, but offer it to Krishna's pleasure, and that becomes yajna. So yajna comes from our side, our sacrifice, whereas adhibhūta, adhyatma, and adhidaiva is Krishna's arrangement. Adhiyajña, he is the Lord of sacrifice, but we have to offer that. We have to offer. Krishna has given us he has given us a prescription how to do yajna. Saha yajñāha prajaha srištva purovaca prajapatihi. So he has given us the yajna process, and now we have to follow that obedience to that order of the Lord, the yajna process. And then if we perform like that, then we are performing yajna. So if we understand all these things, then we understand Supreme Lord in full. Because otherwise we will thinking of Krishna means something isolated from the material world. No, no, no. He is completely intertwined. I mean, this material world is completely connected to him. Not that Krishna is something, material world is something. Like, in some religions, they say God and Satan, two competitors, good and evil, like two opposing forces. It's not like that. Satan is nothing but Maya. Maya is completely under God, and it is not evil. It is actually a punishing agency of the Lord for punishing the rascals that we are. The evil is we, not the material world. For the criminal, the police will look like evil, or with batons, with taser, with handcuffs, with guns, and all kind of things, and locked up in the cell and everything. So these are evil for the criminal, but actually he is the evil. That's why he is facing the punishment. For the lawful citizen, the police, you know, gives them an assurance of protection. For the criminal only, they appear evil. So Satan is not something evil. For the rascal, it appears evil because he is evil. The evil means against God. That tendency of disobedience towards God, that is evil. That false ego, that is evil. Um, so it's not opposing forces. What is that? Um, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Mayadhyaksha. And Krishna is saying completely under my control, the material world is. Chayena yasya bhuvanani bibharti durga, like a shadow. So it is not an independent force from God. No. So if we understand that nothing is independent of the Lord, then we can always be Krishna conscious. But we always forget this fact. We think Krishna is one thing and then the material world is another thing, and like everything is separate, separate, separate. This prithak, prithaktvena vision, this separation, not understanding, like I will show you. This understanding which causes us to think that something is separate from the Lord, it is an offensive mentality. I'll explain here. That is Maya. Ritertham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmane tadvidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. If it is without relation to me, now what has no relation to Krishna? Nothing. But what does it mean if it is without relation to me? It means in our mind, if we think that this is separate from Krishna and this one, I can enjoy this. If we know it is Krishna's property, then we know it has to be offered to Krishna. It belongs to him. I only try to enjoy because I have no faith that Krishna is the only enjoyer. I only endeavor to enjoy in this material world because I have no faith that Krishna is the only enjoyer. Bhoktaram yajña tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richyate. Completely one can be peaceful if he understands these things. But what is these things? So Bhoktaram yajña tapasam, he is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. He is the enjoyer of everything. But we think we are the enjoyer. And when we think we are the enjoyer, of course we forget that he is the enjoyer. Otherwise, if we remember he is the enjoyer, how can we think that we are the enjoyer? So at least partially we have given up that understanding that he is the enjoyer. So Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalokama, a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. He is the beneficiary, he is the enjoyer. All sacrifice and austerity. He is the supreme lord of all planets and demigods. He is the owner of everything. And he is the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. He is supreme friend. That means one should always take Krishna's direction in everything, and whatever he throws at us or gives us in life, it is all for our own good. Whether it is Shani period or whether Rahu or whether Ketu or whether whole planetary system upside down or whether Pataloka, whichever planet is controlling you, that is actually Krishna's friendship, because we deserved something, so we are getting it. So Krishna will never do injustice. Okay, so this is the omni-powerful Lord Krishna. So just that he is omni-powerful, but we are unaware. So we have to become aware. And how do we become aware? And so that's how that is where this Shastra comes in, which will connect us from what we see to the actual reality. Because we're not seeing it properly. We're seeing everything as disconnected from God. As the scientists are doing, adhidaiva, they have no understanding of the adhidaiva principle. But we don't want to be unaware of that. So how to become aware? Then the Shastra will help us. That's why Shrunu, yatha jnasasi tat shrunu. Krishna is saying, hear from me. or about me or from my devotee. So then, yes, we can understand everything. All right, I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? I think there are some. Who's this? Shrikant Tupurani. Arya Samaj is against idol worship and they reject Puranas and they claim Krishna is not God. They claim Goswamis created Radharani. We have to defeat these people. That means they are Anarya Samaj. Arya means one who accepts the Vedic principle, the Vedic way of life. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Krishna is saying you are behaving like Anarya because you are not. You do not know the aim of life. People who know the aim of life, they are Arya. And they accept Krishna and they accept Radharani, they accept um, the Puranas and everything, all the Vedic literature. They accept idol worship, not idol worship, deity worship. It's authorized. It's not some idol, some stone we're worshipping. So they are Anarya Samaj. Okay, what else? Sheetal Verma. Arya Samaj was created by British. Obviously, they will be devil. I don't know if they created. They have certain understanding that Aryans came from the European side and all that. The Germans had this idea. Um, but even in India, I mean, the Arya Samaj was created by an Indian, but his understanding was wrong. I think Dayanand Saraswati was the one who started Arya Samaj, and it's they thought that they brought about some reforms, but actually they brought about some deforms. They deformed. See, something was not working properly, like say the varnashram system. It was in a bad shape because it was being abused. Instead of rectifying it, he abolished it. So instead of reforming, they're deforming the whole system. So we don't want to deform. So that is anarya. We have to reform. Uh, Sami is saying he's from I think Finland. He's saying even in this Finnish languages, I often find similarities to Sanskrit words. That's interesting. Actually, I want to. I think there are maybe articles like this where from each language there are similarities to Sanskrit. Even in Eastern European countries, there are words which are very similar to not only words, even culture, but lost. It is now so far apart that it's not recognizable, but you can see the traces. Somebody was saying, like from Serbia, one devotee was telling me that they even have Radha, Rada, and it's a female god, something like this. So like they have all these similarities, and yeah, we need to actually document and even Australia is actually Astralaya. Astra means weapons, Alaya means place. Apparently, Arjuna actually practiced his weaponry in Australia, Australia, and Rome and Ravenna in Italy. The two cities in the opposite sides of the Italy, one on one coastline, one on another coastline. But Rome and Ravenna. But actually, if you there is similarity of Ram and Ravana. So something from the Ramayana, they have some trace there. I mean, if you dig deeper, you'll find many similarities. In this part of the world, Malay, very much like Hindi and Sanskrit. I mean, many words are. Many words are not also, but many words are. So, yeah, you can find everywhere. Even the word man, mankind. So this man word comes from the word Manu, Manushya, Manav, descendant of Manu, man, MANU, MAN. Okay, Radhika Mataji. Also in Sanskrit class in schools, I remember learning only basic sentences like he walked, they ran, etc. The real glory of Sanskrit was missed out. Best to learn from Sri Prabhupada. Yeah, by Ram, of Ram, from Ram, something, you know, show something interesting. So they did not show, and that's why I had no interest. I never knew it was such a perfect language, and it opened up this huge opportunity to understand all the Vedic literature. But also, it can be a very distracting thing if you don't learn it from the pure devotee. That's why there was Sanatan Goswami came up with this book according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this thing desire. He came up with this book called Krishna Vyakaran or what Vaishnava Vyakaran, Sanskrit with all Vaishnava terminologies like that. So that's how we should learn. And I'll show you one, since we're on this topic, right? In Mukundamala Stotram, from Ram, of Ram, and all these things, that is actually demonstrated in Mukundamala Stotra. This verse, 43rd verse. Krishno rakshatu no jagatraya guruh Krishnam Krishnam namadhvam sada Krishnenākhila shatravo vinihataah Krishnāya tasmai namah Krishnādeva samuthitam jagadidam Krishnasya dāsosmyaham Krishne tishtati vishvametadakhilam He Krishna rakshasva mam. So if you observe this verse, Krishna is Krishna in a noun. Okay? Rakshatu, may he protect, may Krishna protect us. Jagatraya Guru. Krishnam means to Krishna. Namadhvam, all of you bow down. All of you bow down to Krishna. Krishnam means to Krishna. Krishna means Krishna. Krishnam means to Krishna. Krishnena, by Krishna. Akhila Sarvata, Shatravaha Vinihataha. By Krishna, all the enemies are killed. By Krishna. Krishnena. Now, Krishnaya, to Krishna, but this is, okay, Tasmai Namaha, offer obeisances. Okay, here also. Krishnam and Krishnaya is to Krishna, but actually, sometimes Krishnam, how to explain this? Unto Krishna, like, I don't know how to explain in English. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. So, this is difficult to explain. Krishnam is in the passive tense, passive reference. I don't know how to explain. Anyway, so Krishnat, from Krishna. Eva samuthitam jagadidam Krishna. So from Krishna, all these universes have come out. And Krishnasya, of Krishna, dāsa. Of Krishna, we are the servant. I am the servant. Krishne means in Krishna. Tishthati vishvametad akhilam. In Krishna, the whole universe is there. So in this way, if you learn this verse, you will learn Sanskrit. So Rame, Ramaya, or Ramam, Ramena, Ramat, Ramasya. Same thing. Krishnasya, Ramasya. Ramaha, Krishna, Ramam, Krishnam. So in this way, you can understand the entire grammar from this verse. So Krishnena akhila shatravo vinihata, Krishnaya tasmai namaha. So if we learn like this, we will learn not only the grammar, but also to Krishna we have to do. We will learn so much about Krishna. So this is Krishnaized grammar. So there is a name for this book that Sanatana Goswami wrote, where everything the whole grammar is Krishnaized. Okay? So that way we can learn. And of course, now with Prabhupada's books, word to word we can know. Of course, it's not the entire grammar and everything, but we can get an idea. And that's actually enough for us. We don't want the pride to be known as a great Sanskrit scholar, but we should know the truth about Krishna. Of course, we should know some grammar, otherwise, That's like even in English, if I don't know grammar, I'll speak some rubbish gibberish. So I have to know what is grammar. Grammar means it is not something distraction from Krishna. It is actually clarifying. So if I know grammar, like in Singapore, many people don't use grammar properly, and I always get at them for that. Even in English, like they say, um, "Can you borrow some money to me?" They will ask, "Can you borrow some money?" And "Can you borrow me some money?" They say like this, for example, in Singapore. But actually, it is, "Can you lend me some money?" I am borrowing, you are lending. But they say, "Can you borrow me some money?" So it actually confuses. For those who understand grammar, it understand what is grammar, so that we can have a baseline. Okay, this is the standard. So if I say something, you should understand. You say something, I should understand. There should be a common understanding. But if you say something which it doesn't fit into the grammar, like how am I supposed to understand? So grammar actually helps clarify things. But sometimes with Sanskrit grammar, if you try to go into this deep analysis of grammar, dukrin karane, like this, what Shankaracharya did, and take out twisted meanings out of it, then it can actually ruin you. So we should not overdo it, but little bit we should know. Then we will we can understand at least a basic Sanskrit overview knowledge we should have. Divya Mataji, Prabhuji, after listening to this clear, elaborate explanations of words in different ways, lost hope in understanding the depth of words as it is with our limited understanding. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Whatever word, whatever understanding is given, we can understand. And this kind of understanding will only develop when we read a lot. When we read a lot, and then we observe these different, and then we try to memorize those verses, and that's when you will start to see the similar words here and there, and then you will connect all these things. You see, so it'll happen over time. When you start to memorize verses, that's when this thing happens. These connections happen in the brain. SSC, Sanskrit speaking course. I can't speak. Lakhu Trivedi. Do we need to follow our own karma even if we are bad at it? I think I understand what you're asking. Yeah, it is better to do one's own duty, but what is one's duty? What is one's duty? One's duty is to actually become a devotee of Krishna. Our real duty is that actually. Other things, yeah, whatever in the course of life, whatever you're doing, continue doing that. But real duty is to actually become devotee of Krishna. And even if we are bad at it, yeah, we are all bad at it. We are all doing offensive service, offensive chanting, everything offensive. It will, purify over time. But we should start the purification process. What else do we have? Divya Mataji. Prabhuji, if we see material world in relationship with Krishna, then we may have tendency to be kind towards everyone's behavior being attached to the material world, and we may stuck here. Only by seeing Maya as which we can at least think about spiritual world. How to see both worlds in relation to Krishna without fear of Maya. One should have an all round understanding. See, साक्षात् भगवतोक्तेन गुरुणा हरिणा नृप विशुद्धज्ञानदीपेन स्फुरता विश्वतोमुखम्. In this way, King Malayadhwaja attained perfect knowledge because in his pure state he was directly instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By means of such enlightening transcendental knowledge, he could understand everything from all angles of vision. So we should have a simultaneous understanding of the material world, Durga as a Vaishnavi Devi, who is a dear servant of Krishna, who is doing her duty, and at the same time, what is her duty? Her duty is to keep us alert in Krishna consciousness. Her duty is to help everyone become Krishna conscious. She will punish any distraction from Krishna consciousness. So in that way, she's like a witch. She haunts people, and then we become. Why she does that and makes us suffer? Because her real duty is to actually make us a devotee. She does the indirect way. Instead of preaching to us, she will punish our distraction from Krishna consciousness. And then, but when we are Krishna conscious, she will help in every single way. So, yes, we must be alert. Suppose, for example, I'm in the temple and I may chant properly in the presence of devotees. In the absence of devotees, I may do whatever I want, not properly chant. But in the presence of devotees, in the presence of all devotees, the morning we chant, everyone together. So everyone chants together, properly trying to hear what they're chanting. Other time it may become very, distracted chanting. So, in the presence, we are more alert, right? So, in the same way, we have to be alert that Maya is there, she will punish, and she will show zero tolerance. Every single distraction is punished. So, in that way, if we understand, then, you know, we will have an all round understanding. And yes, we have to. Of course, Prabhupada many times said we are declaring war against Maya. Yes, war against illusion. And where is that illusion? In our head. The illusion is in our head. We're not, and in everybody's heads. And of course, that is, the force of Maya. Pisachi pailajena matichanna hoy. Mayagrasta jiver hoy se bhavoday. But she was given the task of becoming a Pisachi because we have been an idiot. Pisachi cannot overtake or overpower a person who is spiritually strong. A ghost cannot overpower such a person. Only a person who is weak she can overpower. So how to get the witch out? Become spiritually strong. We cannot do anything. We cannot destroy Maya. No, no, no. She is very powerful potency. How can we destroy Maya? We cannot destroy Maya. We can come out of her clutches by taking shelter of Krishna. Daivi hesha gunamaye mammaya duratyaya mamevaya prapadyante maya metam tarantite. One can escape these clutches of Maya by we cannot defeat Maya ever. So she is Krishna's energy. How can we defeat Krishna's energy? We cannot. We can escape her influence, her punishing influence by becoming devotee of Krishna, and then we will be helped by the same Maya, by the same Durga. You know that story of Jada Bharat, when some tribal people were trying to sacrifice him Balidan to Kali, and she from the deity form she came out and then she killed all the all this tribal the asuras. So at that time she is protecting the devotee. What is that? How come? And because she actually wants to make everybody. She's a Vaishnavi. So she wants everyone to become Vaishnava actually. And if somebody is an exalted Vaishnava, she will respect, just like Haridas Thakur. When she understood that Maya came and tried to seduce him, and then he did not flinch. He was fixed up in his chanting of Hare Krishna. Then she became so respectful, and then she became a disciple. So like that, you have to understand from all angles of vision. It's not that it is also Krishna's energy only, no? So I'm Krishna's energy for what? So just like this police, they're governments, for protection only. Let me just like go and make some joke on the policeman. You think he will tolerate? You say this is what? Contempt, an act of contempt. Or I go and, put my hand around the police. Hey, how are you? Can I say like that? I can't. When they're in uniform, they're not supposed to. If I try to do something like that, then I will be punished. So I can't be too casual with Maya. I have to respect Maya and her duty, and that if I can be always aware and alert, I can keep myself in check. So we have to use Krishna's energy to our advantage in that way. Okay, so next, I hope that I hope that answers the question. Himanshu, Sanskrit grammar until it helps in remembering verses. Yes, that is what is needed. Sridhar Naidu. Prabhuji, if Maya in the form of modes and lust is overtaking the soul, how can we fight against it when we are body conscious and think through mind and intelligence? Jnana. Jnana. That's the whole point of third chapter 37 to 43. And that jnana comes by devotional service actually. If we are fixed up in devotional service. Devi-he-shagunamai, again, the same thing. It will cover our knowledge and everything, this lust. How to come out? So regular hearing should be there. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. What is that? The other was 284, I think. Shrinvatah Shraddhaya Nityam. You see? Granatashcha Svacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Visate Hridi. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. So, regular hearing should be there. See, how can we come out, right? So, Maya is doing her indoctrination every single second. So, we have to let Krishna also indoctrinate us by reading his books. Let Prabhupada indoctrinate us. And eventually, this will overpower our material understanding influenced by Maya. That's the only way. How to defeat the influence of Maya? How to overtake? Shelter of Krishna. And what is shelter of Krishna? Hear from him. Shravanam, Kirtanam first. And then automatically all the other services also will come. Serious Shravanam, not just hearing. Yeah, Prabhu, the lecture is going on there and I'm doing my own thing and then it's playing. Yeah, that is also punya. It will purify to some extent, but honestly, I have to take the matter seriously. Grinatascha svacheshtitam. Grinata means to accept it, to, you know, take it seriously. This verse from Bhagavad-gītā 4:39. श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेण अधिगच्छति. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge. Shraddhavan, he is faithful. First of all, he has faith in the knowledge. Tatparaha, you see, very much attached to it. That means taking it very seriously. Again, same thing. Tatparaha. Samyata indriyaha, controlled in his senses. Jnanam, labdhva, having achieved. Param shantim, transcendental peace. Achirena, very soon, adhigacchati, attains. So peace means not being agitated by this kama. Kama agitates us. What is that word? कामादीनां कति न कतिधा पालिता दुर्निदेशास् तेषां जाता मयि न करुणा नत्र पानोपशान्तिः उत्सृज्यैतानथ यदुपते साम्प्रतं लब्धबुद्धिस् त्वामायातः शरणमभयं मां नियुङ्क्ष्वात्मदास्ये. So, It's relentlessly karma is agitating us, with so many desires. Um, na upashanti, na trapa, na upashanti. No relief from it, no peace, nothing. But shanti, param shantim here, exactly opposite. Param shantim. How? Utsrijjaitanatha yadupate sampratam labdha buddhis tvamayatah sharanam abhayam mam niyumchvatmadasi. So param shantam, the supreme peace, when we give up this thing and give this maya and then take to Krishna. And take to Krishna means hearing first, chanting, and everything else will follow. Shraddhaval, with faith, that too. Tatpara, very much attached to it. Very much attached to it means what? Prabhu always reading. That is yes, but also following what we are reading, trying to follow. And of course, we may fail many times, but we have to be sincere in following, putting it into practice, putting it into our life. So that is what means it means by tatparaha, being very attached to it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Understood very clearly. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this class. Thank you for being patient, although the whole live stream was breaking apart, but somehow the second run worked. I just hope the next time also it'll work. So this is now StreamYard. I used to use another software, Ecamm Live. Apparently the load will be less, but honestly, when I connected the screen and everything, because I had another monitor, like big monitor in the beginning, somehow that dock I think is a problem, and that screwed up the whole thing. But now it looks fine, and the angle also is differing now. I used to use my, the not a DSLR, it's a mirrorless camera, which has a much better visual. This is a webcam actually. This is just a webcam. Every time I do, that's not a webcam. That's actually a real camera, which acts as a webcam. Apparently, I can also use that camera for this live stream, but I tried to connect it. There was some glitch. It's not connecting well. So I decided to just use a normal webcam. But I think the quality is still good. But if I put a light behind me like I used to put in the other one, I will have this very big, it's problem. There's a mismatch of the balancing. So my face will become dark, and then that light, all the focus will be there on that light, and the light will come as a circle like this, very bright behind me, and I will become dark. So it's not ideal. If I can somehow get the other camera to work, which is here, then again I can put the light behind me. But if I can't, then I have to just go live like this. So that's still fine. I mean, the main thing is somehow we can do these live streams. So actually I got a free trial on this software. I actually asked the customer service support, give me a free trial of the paid version. Actually Nimanita Prabhu has been using this, and I also did some testing on how to show my iPad screen instead of my laptop screen, because that will be much more better for me, because I can just so I found a hack. So that's how this screen that's how this screen is on this side. I can't put it on the other side, I mean this side, which it usually is. So that's some limitation here, but yeah. So at least I can get the class going, you see. So which is good. Now with this it is working fine, and so maybe I will go for the paid version and ask for a discount. They are happy to give a discount for the non-profit. Um, so I saw Nimanita Prabhu using the StreamYard, but there is a StreamYard logo right at the top there. So if I take this, the paid version, I can include him as well because he's giving lectures, and then that thing can be removed, that StreamYard logo. So hopefully all this will help. I hope my laptop can run for a few more months or years. I don't know how it will go, how far it will go. But I think eventually it'll come to a stage where I have to probably give it up. And yeah, paid version is without logo, so I'll just get the paid version because at least we can do some classes like that. Otherwise, there was no hope. I mean, I couldn't do any class. That's it, finished. I thought classes were finished. Anyway, even otherwise, this service is a lot with this temple project. Um, so that's another reason why I may not be able to very often give classes. I thought of giving one on Monday for a song, but again, it was too much work, so I did not. So let's see how it goes. Himanshu is saying totally feeling like your Zoom classes. Today feeling like your Zoom classes. Oh, is that so? Hmm. Yeah, because webcam has a different kind of feel than the other classes. But anyway, it's all about the same. As long as we can get a class going. Sridhar Naidu, thank you Prabhuji for the explanation. Your class is always inspirational to us souls who are still too attached to material world. I don't know about that, but I just do it to sanitize myself. Otherwise, I'll feel a little bit spiritually fogged. Classes help me clear my own thinking because when I speak, it's not that I'm speaking out of extreme great realization level, like one pure sadhu descended from spiritual world. But when I speak, it is just to like remind myself. So it is that will help me clarify my own thoughts and like sanitize my own thoughts, own mind, so I can be in a better mental state. That's how I. That's why I do these classes. Completely selfish motive. All right, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा. Hopefully see you on Saturday. Let's see. Hare Krishna.